On this episode of Hornet News Now, Hayden Knowlton provides an update on FBLA.
Chelsea Jensen reports on a recent lab in Miss Settle's class.
And Bentley Ballesteri tells us why there were so many babies on campus the last few weeks.
Plus, our student and teacher spotlight segments.
All of that and more on this episode of Hornet News Now. Welcome to Hornet News Now. I'm Hannah Rudnick.
And filling in for Sydney Morgan, I'm Carson Hobson.
The Bryant Public Schools will host a job fair on Monday, February 27th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Candidates are invited to come by Bryant Middle School to learn about work opportunities in the Bryant Public School system.
The 2023 to 2024 school calendar has been released.
The bill to support an earlier start date for schools across the state was recently signed into law by Governor Sanders.
Bryant will start school next year on August 14th. You can find the full calendar on Bryant Public Schools' social media pages.
This time of year is extremely busy for campus organizations involved in competitions. The Future Business Leaders of America is one of those groups hard at work this time of year. With more, here's Hayden Knowlton.
FBLA is preparing for annual spring competitions. Students have been attending after-school workspaces held by Ms. Harrell that are used to guide them through the district level.
So there are 3 levels of competition. There's district, state, and nationals. The first level is district. So you get to compete against other schools in our region. And all of those schools get to send 1 delegate per competitive event. The top 6 that place at district then move on to state. If a student doesn't place in the top 6, then their path ends at the district conference.
Marika Farr has been a member since 7th grade and has previously won 2nd place in the state-level competition. She is currently competing again, and her topic challenges her to address the influences of COVID.
My work progress has been a lot of research and just like a lot of personal digging too, because our topic is focused on the impact that COVID-19 has had on teens. And being a teen myself who has lived through that age, I think that's a huge component in it. I think finding a script or just coming up with that creative part of it is really difficult for me.
For Hornet Media, I'm Hayden Knowlton.
Thanks, Hayden. In an update, all 33 FBLA students qualified for state. Now on to the next story. Physics is the study of movement and force. It's involved in careers such as engineering and medicine. Normally, you think of chemicals physics when you think of science experiments. But in the physics classes at Bryant High School, they are putting their knowledge in motion with a different type of experiment. With more on the story, here's Chelsea Jensen.
In regular physics and AP Physics 1, we mainly talk about motion. Everybody rides in the bus, everybody rides in a car, and so I try to make as many examples as relevant to everyone's everyday life as possible. We're actually going to have 2 cars on a track, and we're going to explode the cars away from each other. And then we're going to use some motion detectors to actually calculate the velocity of each car.
Over time, yes, the amount of energy.
It's so rewarding. It's so much fun to do labs, do hands-on activities. It's better than just sitting in your seat. We get up and play in our science classes.
Many students don't see physics as something they would use in their everyday lives, but Ms. Settle knows how common the science actually is.
One of the things that makes me most proud is when kids come back to my classroom and they say, I was watching a movie and all I could think of was, we can't do that in physics. We can't do that in real life. That's not real. That doesn't really happen. Or there's friction involved. That would never happen.
Thank you, Chelsea, for that story, and to Ms. Settle for letting us cover it. Our next story is about the lifespan development classes as they learn the different responsibilities of being a parent. This semester, they are taking their parenting skills to the next level. Here is Bentley Ballesteri with more.
Miss Larson's lifespan development classes are preparing to become parents through the difficult task of taking care of an electronic baby.
The baby will cry after a certain period of time. It's pretty random like a real baby, but it can cry because it wants to be fed. It can cry because it needs a diaper change. It can cry because it just wants to be rocked, or it can cry if it wants to be burped. It's very much like a real baby.
While taking care of these babies can be a challenge, many find it to be a fun and educational experience.
It had its moments, but for the most part, it was fairly enjoyable. Even if there were some bad moments, this is a good educational experience, and it will help me become a better father.
As the teacher of the lifespan development class, Miss Larson wants her students to learn a valuable lesson from this assignment.
The point of this assignment is to just let them know they're not ready to be a parent yet, and the better choices they make now, the more opportunities they have for their future.
For Hornet Media, I'm Bentley Ballesteri.
Thanks, Bentley, for that report.
When we come back, our student and teacher spotlight segments.
Plus, we find out what's trending this week with Tian Lee.
Stay with us. You're watching Hornet News Now.
Located in Benton, the new Saline County Career Tech campus offers students the opportunity to experience different career options. Pathways include industrial technology, automotive, medical, and so much more. Serving school districts in the area, students can sign up through their local high schools to take classes at the Career Tech campus. Parents and students, reach out to your counselor today to find out more information. Welcome back to Hornet News Now. I'm Hannah Rudnick.
And I'm Carson Hobson. It's time for this week's Student Spotlight.
With the report, here's Natalie Maharg.
This week's Student Spotlight is senior journalist Brooklyn Prince. She's the president of Spanish Honor Society and involved in the journalism program here at Bryant High School.
I'm in newspaper and I have a bit of roles there. I help manage for the social media in the way that I just help alongside the manager. And I'm also a section editor for Opinion, and I'm a writer.
There are many different aspects to journalism, but for Brooklyn, it's hard to narrow it down to her favorite parts.
You get to do so much and put so much of your opinion and your ideas, and you get to work with people as well who can give you a sense of different views and perspectives, which is what we're called, so it works very well.
As Brooklyn starts planning out her future, there are also some things she's going to miss about being in the club at Bryant.
I don't want to miss it too much because a lot of things I'm going to do in college. I'm definitely still going to do newspaper and more advocacy things in college, but I definitely will miss the leadership and the people, like the friends that I made along the way in my high school years.
For Hornet Media, I'm Natalie Maharg.
Thanks, Natalie. And now our teacher spotlight with Emery Pendergrass.
This week's Teacher Spotlight, Miss England has been a teacher for 14 years and a Bryant employee for 10.
I teach sociology, general psychology, World Civ 1, World Civ 2 for concurrent credit. I'm the advisor with Mrs. Renee Henry for National Honor Society. I'm also a Health and Human Services house leader.
She is very involved with our students and staff inside and outside the classroom, making sure everyone feels the same way she does at Bryant.
My favorite thing about Bryant is I know that I can go to Dr. Edwards or Mrs. Waymeyer or Mrs. Brantley across the hall, and they will actually listen to me.
There may be things about Miss England that you don't know. Before being a teacher, she experienced crazy, wild things.
My freshman year of college, in front of the entire freshman, greetings class, I was hypnotized in front of everyone, and it worked.
And finally, a piece of advice from Miss England that can help students succeed.
Just remember that one time you had to learn how to walk. You weren't born walking.
For Hornet News Now, I'm Emery Pendergrass.
Thanks, Emery, with that report. Hey, Carson, Valentine's Day is next week.
Well, Hornet Media students are selling chocolate just in time if you need some for your Valentine.
Yeah, in my opinion, for all you guys out there, our chocolate would definitely pair well with some red roses.
Well, T and Lee roamed around campus for relationship advice and tips. Let's take a look.
What up? I'm Tian Lee, and this is what's trending this week. Valentine's is just around the corner, and here's what's up. Do you currently have a Valentine's?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any plans for Valentine's?
Not that I know of right now. I might do something with my mom or friends or something later.
Are you currently in a relationship?
No.
Are you pursuing one as of now?
Yes.
How is that pursuit going?
Good.
That's nice. Let's say that you have a date. If you could take your date to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
It's going to have to be hiking. Like I said, I like to take people to Pinnacle or Pettigene, just somewhere nice. I mean, maybe not in February, but definitely once it warms up, somewhere to kind of look and enjoy the beauty of the outdoors.
Paris, France, to this outside restaurant close to the Eiffel Tower, and just eat there and probably tour around.
In your opinion, what is the worst place to go for a date?
I know it's going to be controversial, but I'm going to have to say it's a movie. Like I said, not a chance to talk or really do much, then just kind of sit in the dark and just not really interesting.
That's all for this week's What's Trending. Carson and Hannah, back to you.
Thanks, Tian. Now in studio with a sports update, here's Taylor Dishinger.
Thanks, Carson and Hannah. This week in Bryant sports, 3 of our football players and 1 baseball player signed to play at the next level in college. Ivory Gilmore is headed to Northeastern State, Tyler Mosley to Arkansas Tech, Lawson Hutchinson to Southern Arkansas for football, and Jordan Knox will be playing baseball at SAU Tech. Congrats to all of these student athletes. On the basketball court, the Hornets return home to Hornet Arena to take on Little Rock Southwest. The girls lost to Central Tuesday night, but the boys won a close one 47-46. The girls begin at 6 p.m. and the boys' game will follow. That's a look at Hornet sports. Now on to Mitchell Elmore with a 3-day weather forecast.
Thanks, Taylor. Friday's low will be 40 with a high of 48. Also Friday afternoon, rain is expected after 12. Saturday's low will be 33 with a high of 50 degrees. Sunday's low will be 29 with a high of 58. Also, for the weather joke today, what is Dracula's least favorite drink? Sunny D. For Hornet Media, I'm Mitchell Elmore. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Mitchell. That's it for this episode of Hornet News Now.
The majority of the program was produced by our Fundamentals of TV students.
Yes, a big thanks for all their help to make this show work.
Reminder, you can find the January episode of The Bryant Buzz and additional content on our YouTube channel. I'm Carson Hobson.
And I'm Hannah Rudnick. Thanks for watching and have a great day.